Hello and welcome back to the Debrief here on the Blood Red channel. I'm your host, Edward Kay. Joining me from Anfield is Theo Squires, and we're coming to you live after a pretty thrilling second half, all things told. First half, not so great, I think going in 0-0, but obviously Liverpool coming out 3-2 winners after that second half. Theo, I wanted to start with, I think the main thing for a lot of us to watch going into the game was going to be the positioning of Trent Alexander-Arnold and how he played. I want to start with your thoughts on, his position tonight and how well you thought he ran the game.
Yeah, he's in that inverted fullback role again, wasn't he? It was the 3-2-2. We need to get a better name for that. But the 3-2-2-3 formation again. His passing wasn't at its best, though, I think, at times. But at the end of the day, he's got the assist for the winning goal. Like, we saw him being a lot more effective against Leeds, but he's still in the heart of the action, running the game from midfield. I think it's a bit harder when you're playing a team like Forest when you know they're just going to sit deep. You know it's going to be a five-man defence. Liverpool had a lot of the ball in the first half, especially without too much end product. But yeah, Trent still just class, isn't he, when he's on the ball picking out his teammates at ease. Maybe not the most flourishing performance from him in terms of, that pass was superb, creating goals galore. But when he gets the assist for the winning goal, that's all you need. And it's a vital win for Liverpool, and the feeling that the final whistle's relief. You're on mute, mate.
Sorry about that one. Relief, certainly the word for it at the final whistle. Obviously, Liverpool, depending on how optimistic of a Liverpool fan you are, I guess, it will govern how much you think Liverpool have got left to play for this season. Like you say, relief at the final whistle. They have managed to get the 3 points. A lot of people saying in the immediate aftermath, they can maybe catch Tottenham. Will they be able to catch Newcastle? Obviously, they play each other next in the Premier League, I believe. How big of a game is that for Liverpool? If that game is a draw, do you think there is any chance for the Reds getting into that top 4?
I don't think it's over yet. It's a case for Liverpool where they can't really focus on it, though. They have to just take it a game at a time and just get these wins, stack up the points, and see where it takes them at the end of the season. I know that's a very boring answer. I will put my neck on the line and say they will finish above Tottenham. I have full belief that they will beat Tottenham on next Sunday, and that should be enough, shouldn't it, to overtake them at least. Like at one point today, they were going 6th, but then a late Aston Villa equaliser ensures that they're 7th. But you look at the table after this, they're a point off Villa. They've got a game in hand on Villa, and they've still got to play Villa. They're 3 points off Spurs. They've still got to play Spurs at Anfield. Brighton got a couple of games in hand, so they'll overtake them if they get the wins in that. But if they're getting distracted by the FA Cup, that's when you start to look at the top 4. And Newcastle, that they've got to respond tomorrow after that crumbling 3-0 defeat to Villa last week. Manchester United, they're going to have to respond. Really poor the last couple of games. Europa League exit midweek. Who knows how they'll do in the FA Cup semi-final tomorrow. So the pressure's going to be ranked out on these sides who are in the top 4. And because Liverpool have come from so deep now, from the 8th, the pressure isn't on them. Like, no one expects them to finish on the top 4, but at the same time, you have faith in them being able to go and put a 7-8 game winning run together. And if they can do that, they've got a chance. They'll put themselves in contention, but they just can't focus on that top 4. It can't be the pressure on the price at the moment. They've just got to do their own job and see if it is enough. Like, what now is it? 3-4 unbeaten? And it's looking a lot more promising than a couple of draws against Chelsea and Arsenal, back-to-back wins. Like this one, you'd say is more of a corner turned than Leeds, even though Leeds was such an emphatic win, you're winning on the road, because this is one where they actually saw it out. Like if we think back to October, the Brighton game when they drew 3-3, they were 3-2 up in that game late on, and I don't think anyone inside this stadium had any belief that Liverpool would hold on for 3 points that day, just because they looked so fragile. Brighton were getting forward and creating chance after chance. Today there was a little bit more resilience in them. Like, yes, Forest were creating chances. Yes, the goals Forest scored sloppy from Liverpool defensively, but there was just a little bit more fire in Liverpool's belly. Like, you had that belief that they'll just go up the other end and score, and that they had the grit in them to see it and go over the line. That's the spirit they need, and that's the spirit they've had time and time again in recent years. It could be enough. I'm sure we'll have a better idea in a month's time, but yeah, tomorrow's huge. If Newcastle win, it's going to be deflating, isn't it? Because then that gap is that much bigger. You need the sides who are above you or in this European mix to take points off each other. So fingers crossed, touch wood, it's going to be a draw. You're on mute again, mate.
Yeah, so, I mean, two main stories in that forward line. Obviously, Diogo Jota getting two, but he has been sort of pipped to the post. We're going to talk about Mohamed Salah first. Obviously joins Robbie Fowler in sixth on Liverpool's all-time leading scorers list. I think it's 183 goals. I mean, just another incredible achievement for a player who can't seem to stop breaking records, even in a pretty average season for Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah, like when Fowler broke through and he was scoring goals like every week, he was setting records. And you look at his record as a young man in his late teens, early 20s, before he started getting the injuries. And it's the sort of level you're seeing from Mbappe now, but then he had the injuries. And that's what makes it remarkable, because we still think of Fowler as one of the most prolific forwards in Liverpool's history. If he doesn't get those injuries, he doesn't fall out with the manager and get sold, he's going to be higher up that list by far, and he's going to win so many more trophies for Liverpool. Didn't happen that way, unfortunately, but you move on. That sheds this whole new light on Salah. Like, he's done this record in, 70-odd games quicker than Robbie Fowler, who is one of the most prolific finishers English football, in the Premier League era at least, has ever seen. And Salah is just always this man for the big occasion. Like we say, he's not had the best season. Liverpool haven't had the best season. He's now on 27 goals. He's going to break the 30-goal barrier. And look who's ahead of him in that list now. Steven Gerrard. I believe he's, 3 goals off Gerrard now? He'll topple Gerrard before the end of the season, you'd imagine. He'll be fifth in the all-time charts. And you look at what he's achieved at this football club since joining in 2017. He's won the Champions League, first Egyptian to do so. He's won the Premier League, first Egyptian to do so. Won every single major honour. And now he's scoring all these goals consistently over 5-6 seasons. If he keeps doing it until the end of his contract, even if he doesn't get another extension, he's already established as a Liverpool legend. He's going to leave whenever that time comes as one of the greatest players in this club's history. You hope there's a few more successful chapters to write before that time comes, but he's not slowing down by any means. Beat Gerrard before the end of the season in the all-time charts, then get to 200 next season. We'll see how high it ends up. If you want to be a better man, you're feeling confident that Liverpool's glory days are going to be back and this is just a one-year blip and Salah's going to keep doing 25, 30 plus goal seasons, he could end up behind, I reckon, third. Let's go for third. Rush and Hunt a bit too far, but it's an incredible achievement. Like we see clubs where the goal scoring records have been broken in recent years. You think of like Henry or Aguero at Arsenal, Man City. They haven't had to score as many goals as Salah is going to have to score to be an all-time Liverpool goal scorer. So just to be in that same conversation as a Rush, a Hunt, even Fowler, it's incredible. I think Klopp said it best, didn't he, on Friday? It's insane the records he breaks and how he has been doing this so consistently. It's just fortunate for Liverpool fans that they've been able to enjoy this brilliant footballer for so many years at such a consistent level, and it's delivered all these trophies, all these goals. No trophies this year, but another winning goal today.
Yeah, I've had a look at those all-time scorer charts myself a few times, and if Liverpool are, back to their best in these next couple of years, it is a bit scary just how high it could end up on those charts. But we'll move on to Diogo Jota now. I mean, I myself, I've got to admit, I was having my worries ever since he's been back. Obviously, you give him a few games to sort of get back to fitness, but he just hadn't really looked sharp recently. And then all of a sudden, 4 goals in 2 games. It's amazing how far that can go to sort of settling everyone's mind. I mean, my worries are pretty allayed, I've got to say. What about you?
I think I've said on the podcast a few times that we think of this year-long goal drought he's had, and it goes back to the injury he had in international duty and the one he had against Man City, the calf injury. But I still take it back to the injury he got against, I think it was Inter Milan in the San Siro on the eve of the League Cup final. It was an ankle injury. He only missed a couple of games, but he was rushed back for the League Cup final. He wasn't fresh then because an ankle one's a tricky one to come back from. And having scored so many goals that season, he then had Luis Diaz to compete with. So it hasn't been plain sailing for him since then. When he's had injuries, his place has been under threat. At least in the interim, he's got a hell of a lot of assists when he has been fit and he has been available to play. He's missed chances, and you're just waiting for that goal scoring drought to end. Because, if Jota had been fit, fresh, scoring goals in the final 6 weeks of last season, who knows? Maybe we're talking about Liverpool did win a treble, or Liverpool did win a quadruple. He could have been the difference in that title running last year. He could have been the difference against Real Madrid in Paris. Sadly, that wasn't to be. But I think I said it on Friday's pod, actually, as tongue-in-cheek. It's funny, isn't it? Jota's last goal before the drought was against Man City in the 2-2 draw at the Etihad. Their next game, they put in the performance of the season against Man City, and for the last year, it's just been downhill ever since. Now he's started scoring again. We're feeling a bit more confident again. We're feeling like this is more like the Liverpool we know. Maybe we just needed Diogo Jota scoring goals and everything's fine at Liverpool again. They've got the talents back. But yeah, this is what we want to see from Diogo Jota, because he is a great finisher. He's a poacher. He's got a really impressive Liverpool scoring record. And it's just a weight is off his shoulders. Like his first goal, it's a poacher instinct. He does so well to get in front of his man and head it over the line. But the second one, if you haven't seen it, find a replay on Twitter or whatever social media platform. Watch it on Match of the Day or highlights on Sky or whatever. It's such a good goal. Free kick comes in, takes it down on his chest, under pressure, swivels, turns, and just rifles it into the corner in front of the cop. I think it's on his weaker foot as well. When he's confident, he scores goals. When he scores goals, Liverpool got another great chance of winning him. Dare I say it, getting close to that top 4 chance chase.
Yeah, I think that second goal, the composure there really showed a lot. You know, he wasn't snatching at it like a player who hasn't been amongst the goals recently. But we'll finish with a word on the banner from the Nottingham Forest fans, unveiling a banner. I think it was in the 6th minute, to thunderous applause around Anfield. Just reading a message saying to support the 97, and obviously warding off against people tragedy chanting. It's a really nice touch from the Forest fans, and we had one of them, Pete Hillier, on Alain LaRouge this week, speaking about the tragedy. And obviously, Nottingham Forest, the team Liverpool were playing that day. It does affect Forest fans too. So, I mean, that was just a really nice gesture from them, wasn't it, Theo?
Yeah, it was classy. They got a standing ovation here at Anfield, and rightly so. Like, they are one of the clubs that appreciate this tragedy more than most. I know Gorsty's mentioned on a couple of podcasts how disappointed he was at the City Ground when they were joining in with the tragedy chanting. But I think that's maybe just a bit ill-educated at the time. That doesn't excuse it, but certainly none of that today. There was maybe a bit of anti-Scouse chanting at time, but it's like in good humour. A couple of amusing ones, one about Nico Williams and Trent Alexander-Arnold that got me chuckling. But yeah, we talk about this banner. It's a great touch from Forest, and you don't expect anything less. Like both clubs were through something horrific. Sheffield Wednesday as well, being at their ground, just get it, don't they? And they're the ones you want to be standing alongside to get that support. You just hope that the wider football community can take notice and follow that example. Like we've said on so many podcasts, and we will keep saying it on so many podcasts, such a tragedy could happen to anyone. These people were unlawfully killed. They deserve better. Their memories deserve better. Those left behind deserve better. And hopefully we are taking the steps in the right direction now to finally get them close to justice as we can, and to respect them, just give them the peace and let them rest in peace.
Yeah, nice to see through the tribalism in football for once. And that is where we'll finish for today on the debrief. Liverpool with the 3 points, a pretty thrilling 3-2 victory over Nottingham Forest in the end. Thanks from myself, thanks from Theo, and we'll catch you next time.